to rev it up and roll with America's premier motorcycle talk show. Open Road Radio is on the air with Gina Woods and other guest hosts. And now, with riding on their minds, here's your hosts of Open Road Radio.
Hey, and we are live and we are here for Open Road Radio on the 16th of January already. I can't believe it. It's coming fast. And but we have Tice in the house. We've got Penny in the house.
Hello, everybody.
I guess, Penny, that makes you and I the other hosts. So
Right.
Happy to be the other here.
That's
Your
funny.
supporting cast, Gina, and birthday, by the way.
Hey, thanks so much. And happy 26th birthday, Open Road Radio. Wow, 26 years. And it's so funny because I started when I was 26.
You started when you were 4. Come on.
All right.
Math is not the strong point of the show, Penny.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what is the strong point is motorcycles. And we have got a killer show for you guys tonight, man. We have got not only Tice in the house to talk a little bit about XDL, Freestyle, Bike Championship.
We actually have Tice in the freezing cold garage, but, I mean, close enough. They
We
don't
need
let
to
me
get
in
you
the
a
house
heated garage to be working
No,
on that
it's not.
pan head.
Keep my breath out here.
Actually, it's pretty warm. We're lucky that it's warm in this northern part of the country. We had 50 degrees today, so we are not complaining on January 16th.
I mean,
You guys
we're
forgot
40 and we're 40 and some rain up here just north of Milwaukee. But I mean,
Exactly.
but how more having a little adult beverage, standing around a motorcycle, and just like, what should I do next? What's gonna happen here?
Well, if it makes you
what
guys-
is stripping today?
If it makes you guys feel any better, Vegas isn't much warmer than you guys right now.
I know
No, it
she
doesn't-
sent me the temperatures for next week when we go out to Mecum, and I'm like, oh man, have to do it.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, we've got a fantastic show lined up. We have got Greg Arnold. He's the director of motorcycles over at Mecum Motorcycle Auction. Favorite time of the year is this week because I'm always getting ready to come out to Las Vegas and hang out in the studio next week with Penny and Dazzlin, and Greg's going to join us as well. And just because Mecum Motorcycle Auction, you get to see a lot of great friends and vintage collectors and collections, and Greg is going to join us in a little while and talk to us about that. Lots of fun. And one of the big talked about collections this year is Mike Wolfe's As Found collection by Mike Wolfe. So that is really exciting. Mike is going to join us as well during the show. So a lot of great stuff coming on. Give it a like, give it a share, leave us a comment in the right in that little box over there, and we'll read it out loud, or you can just say hello and chime in. We'd love that. So we've got Mike Wolfe, American Pickers. We've got Greg Arnold, Mecum Motorcycle Division Manager. Chris Tice is in the house, and Penny is live from Sin City.
Yeah. So, Chris, are you coming out for Mecum or no?
No, I have to stay home an adult and continue to work, and I got a pan head behind me that's got to get built. I got a shovel head. I got a Dyna. I got 99 problems, and unfortunately, Vegas isn't one for me right now.
Oh, well, it would be a good problem to have. But I got to tell you what, I was really excited because Greg and David Morton invited me last year to. I got to be. You see the U-line glove, and the U-line glove is the magic of white. The white gloves that you have to wear when you're on that stage and going across it. Penny, I don't know if you remember when we had all of the Flying Piston bikes last year. I got to roll one across. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was really big fun. I mean, that was the highlight of my motorcycle career, Greg.
That's cool. Great photo.
Yeah, it was really big fun. Mecum Motorcycle Auction. Put it on your bucket list. I mean, if you can't make it, Greg's going to tell you how you can be a bidder. But man, I'm just telling you what, it's a social event. It's really what it's become, the social event of the year, I think. It's a lot of fun if you're into vintage motorcycles and motorcycles. Get out to meet Mecum Auction. Greg will fill us in on more information in a while. But I wanted to real quickly give Tice the floor just to talk a little bit about what's coming up for XDL. You know, he's been at that for I don't know, Tice, how many years? You tell us.
Well, I mean, basically, I've been at the motorcycle industry since I was about 17, 18. Started riding wheelies, started performing shows, and then I quickly discovered I was much better at talking and working motorcycle events. Yeah, riding motorcycles. So,
Or we have that.
yeah, you know, I mean, so I bought XDL, and I think I've owned that now since 2016. So it'll be 7 years in April. And we just travel the country doing some events. Right there, you see a good buddy of mine, factory BMW, Chris McNeil. That's actually at SEMA a couple years back. We've him and I have done some really cool stuff. MotoGP, SEMA, CE, two-wheel and one-wheel motorcycle love. Outside of that, we're still doing some stuff. Obviously, just like everybody else, the pandemic kind of put a little screeching halt to live events, but I would say, 2023 really just looks like everybody's just itching, hungry, ready to really get outside, kind of get back to, a lot more live stuff and, just kind of keep the party rolling.
Fantastic. How are the events lined up for you this year?
We're doing pretty good. To be honest with you, like a lot of times we don't really kind of book stuff until right about now, my, as they call release season. So really just, I don't know where we got these pictures from. But no, we are really just kind of lining things up, and we got a lot of cool stuff that a lot of cool people we're talking to. Hopefully, some partnerships that we get to move forward with and bring out here in the very near future. But right now, we're looking forward to getting back and doing this. This was at Hales Harley Davidson right here in Milwaukee. I mean, it's just for us. There's nothing better than being in front of a big crowd, riding wheelies. It's about as close as I'll ever get to being a lead singer in Leonard Skinner. So, I like it. Me hanging out, my old Dyna right there. I got a new Dyna coming. I don't know if it's going to be quite as wild as this one, but
Nice.
I'm building the shovel head back here. So you never know what might come rolling into one of our Street Cowboys shows. So, you might see some old stuff. You might see some new stuff. You might just have to show up at the show and find out for yourself.
Well, Chris, I've had the pleasure of hanging out at, quite a few of your shows, IMS shows, Sturgis shows, different shows in Milwaukee, elsewhere. And, I just like the action stuff. I mean, obviously the crowd does too, because you get a big crowd every time. And people I think people tend to gravitate towards that, right? I mean, you hear motorcycles screeching, that's the first thing people are going to do, screeching or smoke.
The picture up right now is our XDL Willie experience. So we did a handful of events last year around the country, Texas, we were in Denver, all over, and we're events. And our XDL Willie experience is really cool. It's actually where you get the opportunity to experience what it's like to ride a wheelie. And we've got two machines. One of them is all hydraulic. It kind of just helps you to take the edge and get you over the fear of staring straight up at the sky. And right now you can see our friend Nicole right here. She's riding our live action machine, and right there she's doing it all by herself. She's using the throttle, she's using the brake. You can just barely see the tip of
That's because Jacole is such
my
a
hat
badass.
there. We're just over. So we do a lot of cool stuff. I still have crazy ideas, and every year some of our partners just give me just enough to bring another crazy idea out every year.
That's fantastic. People can get XDL wearables.
Yeah, you can find it on our site. You can go right off of our xdlshow.com. My Instagram has links. Otherwise, TNT Wear. Right here, you see a bunch of our Street Cowboys, which is our Harley-based V-twin team. And XDL kind of is usually a little bit more sport bike stuff. And, they have some great crossover. I mean, you'd expect when you roll some sport bikes into a heavy Sturgis crowd, have burned down some places, Iron Horse, Buffalo Chip, like, you start tearing tires off of motorcycles and everybody's going to come running.
How many FXRs you got in there?
Penny, I'm really sorry, but I'm a Dyna bro.
You just don't know it better yet.
Maybe someday, who knows what'll happen. I mean, I have my eye on an FXR. I just, like I said, I got a pan head, I got a shovel head, I got a Dyna that all got to get built before my FXR. But I'm going to do my FXR a little bit different than everybody else. And you're going to be probably the
Right on. Good.
Yeah, it's getting to be crunch time. I mean, Daytona is 7 weeks away now, so it's crunch time. It's already out the gate, and man, it's just it's flying by already.
I feel like we just did this show like 3 weeks ago, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, it's back to pre-Daytona shows again. It's just
right?
A little winding clock never ever slows down. I think it's getting faster. Something's wrong with my clock.
Yeah, we're all by the same clock. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so glad, because I love what you do, and I'm glad we got to tell everybody a little bit more about it.
Well, I always appreciate it, and I'm just waiting for one of these days. I'm going to put you on back of one of my Dynas, and we're going to pop some wheelies together.
You damn right. I'm game. Chris, you're going to stick around with us, and we're going to head to a commercial break. We're going to get Greg Arnold from Mecum Motorcycle Auctions coming up next, and Mike Wolfe later on in the show. So stay tuned. Give it a like, give it a share. We'll be right back after these messages.
Law we practice is personal injury law. Specifically, we represent injured bicyclists and injured motorcyclists. My partner and myself have been practicing for 27 years. We know as a firm how to work together.
Because we focus only on motorcycle crashes and bicycle crashes, we are used to not only the dynamics of how the crashes happen, but we're also used to dealing with the biases of the insurance adjusters that want to put the blame on our clients.
Are you ready to ride? Seafoam Motor Treatment was born with a focus on being a safe and effective product that helps engines run cleaner and last longer. Seafoam Motor Treatment is now one of the best-selling additives in North America. Seafoam Motor Treatment is an all-petroleum blend that helps lubricate upper cylinders while it cleans, helping engines to run cleaner, run smoother, and last longer. Seafoam products have attracted a passionate following as the proven choice for mechanics, vehicle enthusiasts, and all sorts of people who love or depend on engines. We've grown since our humble beginnings, but our focus is still the same. Safe products that are proven to work and keep engines and equipment running their best. And if you're looking for a great cleaning combo for your bike, try Seafoam Bugs Be Gone to clean and Seafoam Fast Shine to detail. Ask for it at your local retailer. Seafoam, the trusted choice since 1942. Check out the website for the full line of products, locations, and videos at seafoamsales.com, and like us on Facebook. While some products fix problems, Andrews solves them. With nearly 50 years of passion, precision, and high performance, Andrews Products changes the world of motorsports. Engineered and manufactured in-house, Andrews excels by using aircraft steel, then machining to the closest industry tolerances. If you need powerful cams, gears, and transmissions for your ride that are proudly made in America, use Andrews Products. Contact AndrewsProducts.com or call our tech line Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 at 847-759-0190. How can you tell if somebody actually cares? Look at their actions. At Full Throttle Law, we are all about protecting riders. That means we don't just organize rides. We take action to keep riders safe. We have sponsored or created over 20 safety-focused events in the past year alone. Emergency response classes, first aid courses, riding seminars, track days, garage nights, and fundraisers for local independent charities like Biker Down. Any law firm can help you get a settlement if you get hurt. But we're already on the road with you, doing everything we can to make sure we all get home safe at the end of the ride. If you've been hurt in any kind of accident, tell your smartphone to call Full Throttle Law. We ride together.
Mecum Auctions returns to Las Vegas for the world's largest vintage and antique motorcycle auction, January 24th through the 28th at the South Point Hotel and Casino. featuring 2,000 motorcycles with over a dozen collections crossing the block. Broadcast live on Motor Trend Plus. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at mecum.com.
All right, and we are back, and we are going to be bringing our friend Greg Arnold in from the Mecum Motorcycle Auctions, the motorcycle manager. And we had a nice chance to talk with Greg just before the show. And Greg is not feeling all so hot, but man, what a trooper to join us tonight and promote this big event next week. So let's bring him on and see if he's still there. He's still alive. He's still good. Hey, Greg, thank you for joining us on Open Road Radio. And Greg, Mecum motorcycle manager. And how long have you been with Mecum Motorcycle Auctions?
I took over the motorcycle division in about the 1st of January 2014, actually.
But was there a motorcycle division at that time, or did you kind of create this?
We always had motorcycles at car auctions, but we thought that there would be a spot, to have to increase the presence with motorcycles with Mecum auctions. So that's what we did.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And I mean, just year by year, you've seen it grow. What is
Yes, it started out, with the Las Vegas auction with, I guess, maybe 350 motorcycles, and we're pushing for 2,000 now.
Wow.
Yeah, even compared to last year, it's doing fantastic this year.
Yeah, it's doing really well. Consignments are up, registered bidders are up, ticket sales are out through the roof. It's going to be a barn burner for sure. You should be there.
I will be there. I'm excited to be there. Everybody should be there.
Yeah.
But except Tice. Tice is too busy in the garage. Tice doesn't get to be there. Greg, tell us a little bit about if people can't be there, how do they get to bid? I mean, how can they get online? I mean, obviously there's online bidding and it's doing very well. What do they have to do to be a bidder online?
To be a bidder online or by telephone, as a matter of fact, you have to go to mecum.com and register to bid as an absentee. And there's, that's the same registration fee as it is for the being, live on site. I believe it's $200.
Wow. And what would you say your ratio is, people that are live versus people that call in or go online?
It's still strongly live, but, of course, with the pandemic, we've increased our absentee bidding by, a large amount. I would say, online or telephone might be close to 20% now.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty big.
That's awesome. And then vendors again this year, like always, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, let's talk about the vendors, because you've got some great highlights and some great collections in your at the motorcycle auction this year. Why don't you tell us about that? And tell us a little bit, tell us what a collection is first. Tell us what the collections are, because I know that's pretty trendy right now.
Well, people start buying motorcycles and sometimes they don't quit. There's various reasons. Some people are expressly aiming at collecting something in particular. That's probably the main segment of motorcycle collections, is someone that wants to, collect Triumphs, or just collect Triumph Bonnevilles, or just collect knuckleheads, or, it goes on and on. And, at some point they have to figure out they have so many motorcycles, they can't even keep air in the tires. So, then it's time to go. Situations change. A lot of people will sell their collection and then just start right over again. That's very common.
Well, how exciting is it for you to be the person that has, or are you the person that has to go out to look at the collection?
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Oh, it's a pretty good gig, no doubt about it. I spend a lot of time on the road, but to open the doors on a building and see stuff that isn't known necessarily. You know, it's fresh to the market, as we say. That's pretty exciting.
We'll just
And I like everything. 2 wheels and a motor. That's it for me.
yeah.
Exactly. So are you the, how many people do you have that
So we'll use that for
are able to go out?
6:39,
Because
so
I'm
we'll
definitely volunteering my services. You know, if you're a busy guy or you come down with a cold, you know, I mean, how can you be everywhere all the time?
Well, you know, jobs are available on our site. You know,
I've looked.
6:39 because she's got
just have to apply. You know, we have
Pacific time.
this motorcycle auction. We'll have
Okay, perfect.
100
So
people on the ground for that one, probably.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
8:39.
And how many attendees, Greg?
Oh, I think the gate last year was somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 a day for the auction.
All right, thanks.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
no, it's
nice.
people.
Cool.
That's a lot of people for motorcycle auction. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you-
a lot of people walk around looking at motorcycles, but with this many motorcycles, it's the best bike show in the world, bar none. You won't see that many motorcycles or, you know, that variety of motorcycles anywhere. And then to be able to see them cross the auction block and see what kind of prices they realize in the real world is another whole thing.
So
Well, you
what? So far, what do you guys have for like for a record for most bid on a motorcycle? What kind of bike was it?
Most bids, highest money.
Yeah.
Well, I think winning still is probably a 1915 Cyclone board track racer that had been in Steve McQueen's collection, but they're a very, very rare bird all by themselves. You know, you don't see them. That one, I think the sale price on that was $860,000, somewhere in that range.
Cha-ching.
Gosh,
Hey.
wow. That's crazy. Wow. And who had, I mean, I shouldn't say who, but the biggest collection, how many motorcycles have you seen in one collection, like the highest number?
Well, I think the Jim's Forever collection at this auction is 100 motorcycles, 101, something like that. That's a lot of bikes. They have others at like 80. The biggest one I've ever seen that has not come to the market yet is maybe more like 500 motorcycles and nice ones.
Greg, is there anybody out there that you know has a collection that you want them to bring to me?
Is there anybody I know that has a collection and want me to come and look at it?
I mean, is there anybody out there that you're seeking or that you want their collection to come true? I mean, you may not know them, but you know of their collection.
I have some stops to make. Yep.
You do? You've got some?
Yep. I have some stops to make for sure. Yep.
Ah, boy, I just
Well, I
want to
do
be
find the time.
That's
But
cool.
I'll get there.
And
I'll get there. And they do contact us quite frequently.
I want to be a fly on your coat when you go to these. I'm telling you right now. I just want to feel it. It's got to be exciting.
It's interesting.
what about the road art, Greg? What do we got this year? Quite a bit of art.
Well, we sold a whole lot of memorabilia from the Jim's Forever collection on our On Time platform, which is basically internet sales, where the bidding stays open for 2-3 weeks. We probably sold 10,000 items that Jim had. We've got some signs. If you look on the website under click on road art for this auction, you can view what we have.
Nice.
For sure.
Yeah, there's always some great stuff at Mecum. I know that I've always worked with Jason Sims. He's going to be there. I know that Eric Herman is always there with his art. There's so much to do. And one of the most exciting things is when you come into the hall and you do go downstairs, the whole back of the main area is just full of motorcycles, and it's categorized by what day they're going to go on. But you can just get lost in it because it's just vintage after vintage after vintage after row after row after row. And
Yeah, there's
it's amazing to see. It's just if you stand on the stairs and just look long enough, you just get dizzy. I get dizzy. It's looking at all those bikes. And this year, like you said, about 2,000.
Yeah, we're pushing for it. I don't think we're quite there yet. We're in the 1,700 range right now. So,
Tice, what are you saying?
That's so many motorcycles to be auctioned off, and I mean, it's like it's not like you're just going to like you're not going to a salvage auction or just a bike auction. You're going to an auction that everything is rare or restored, or like it's just, to me, the numbers that Greg keeps telling us are just mind blowing.
Well, yes and no. People don't realize it's the same on the car side. We sell a whole lot of motorcycles for under $5,000. We have our motto, Mecum Auctions, we got something for everyone. We take care of the entry level, because today's entry level is tomorrow's mid level, and so on. So, there's always stuff. There's always projects. There's out and out projects. So,
people shouldn't be intimidated. Like, even if you can't buy, you should just come to be able to look at all the motorcycles.
Yeah, even as a spectator, like I said, it's the best motorcycle show in the world. If you like, old and interesting bikes, antique and collector, vintage.
It's like going to an art museum. There's even if you're not into something, like, you can appreciate everything that's there, and like there might be something you've seen in a magazine or on the internet, but to actually see something in front of you, it's such a different experience. And I think that's that's probably would be, for me, probably the craziest thing. I would just walk around like.
Drew.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. There's some obscure motorcycles that I hadn't even heard of, and I heard of a lot. And I get my hands on them. So that's a really interesting thing.
Would you consider yourself a premier expert in motorcycling?
I'm an expert in the antique motorcycle auction business. I know a lot about bikes. I know a lot about a lot of different bikes, but I'm not really an expert in any one thing. There's just no time for me to specialize. I got to cover a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots and lots. What do you think is trending right now? Is there a mini bike craze going on?
Well, did you say mini bike craze?
Yeah, has there been a mini bike trend?
Yeah, there is. I think it's stronger at the car auctions. You go to a Mecum car auction, and all those car guys, they all had a Honda mini trailer, a CT70. Even if they never had another two-wheeled motorized conveyance, they all had that. So there's a great deal of nostalgia about those guys, and they're buying and selling cars that are north of $50,000, sometimes much more. So $5,000 or $6,000 mini bike is nothing to them, but they can buy a perfect one and park it in their man cave and say, I used to have one of those. So
exactly.
That's very powerful in the business.
I think that there's there's no limit to what people can do. People put them in their office and their houses. I took the Christmas tree down, and there's a big spot, and I'm thinking about putting plants there, and I'm thinking about putting a bike where I could put the plants on. I mean, just saying, people use bikes for everything now. I think they're really more of
where you can fit one car.
There's more of a prop, I think, than ever. But
why did you have a car? My grandma had a car, for gosh sakes.
Right. Hey, we want to say hello to some folks in the house. We got Mike Draco. We got Shannon Daslin. She actually was on a trip this past weekend and just getting home, but we appreciate that she popped on, and we will see her next week in Sin City, as well as there are some other people that are on, but Corey just made my screen go blank. I got to see who they were.
From Stu's Motorcycle Towing was on. He's a cool local guy. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great to see you all. Thank you for joining us here on Open Road Radio. Give it a like, give it a share.
I'll do that.
We got Rebecca on and Robin as well. Thank you so much. Robin, we're so excited about the promo today that we played for Mecum Auction that she got a plane ticket, and now she's coming out there with me.
Good. Yeah, well, that's excellent. That's what we're aiming for.
So that was a lot of fun. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Mike, you're going to, Greg, you're going to hang out with us for a few more minutes, and we're going to bring Mike Wolfe up, and we will be right back after these messages. Give it a like, give it a share. We'll be right back.
All right.
And rode on two wheels with help from Eagle Rider, the world's largest motorcycle rental and tour company. Choose from a wide selection of new motorcycles from popular brands like Harley-Davidson, BMW, Honda, Yamaha, and a whole lot more. Whether you're looking to get away for the day, weekend, or join us on one of our epic tours like our Wild West, Baja, or Route 66 tour. With over 150 locations worldwide and 30 years in the industry, it's plain to see why Eagle Rider is the trusted go-to name for your motorcycle rental needs. Book your next adventure today and visit us at eaglerider.com or call us at 310-321-3180. Eagle Rider.
The type of law we practice is personal injury law. Specifically, we represent injured bicyclists and injured motorcyclists. My partner and myself have been practicing for 27 years. We know as a firm how to work together.
Because we focus only on motorcycle crashes and bicycle crashes, we are used to not only the dynamics of how the crashes happen, but we're also used to dealing with the biases of the insurance adjusters that want to put the blame on our clients.
Hi, my name is Mia, and my parents are the creators of Mimi and Moto, the motorcycle monkeys. If you're a mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, or grandpa, please go visit our website, www.mimiandmoto.com. We have books, t-shirts, onesies, ornaments, plush toys, and more. Please visit mimiandmoto.com today and join our mission to get more kids like me excited about motorcycles. That's www.mimiandmoto.com.
How can you tell if somebody actually cares? Look at their actions. At Full Throttle Law, we are all about protecting riders. That means we don't just organize rides, we take action to keep riders safe. We have sponsored or created over 20 safety-focused events in the past year alone. Emergency response classes, first aid courses, riding seminars, track days, garage nights, and fundraisers for local independent charities like Biker Down. Any law firm can help you get a settlement if you get hurt. But we're already on the road with you, doing everything we can to make sure we all get home safe at the end of the ride. If you've been hurt in any kind of accident, tell your smartphone to call Full Throttle Law. We ride together.
Mecum Auctions returns to Las Vegas for the world's largest vintage and antique motorcycle auction, January 24th through the 28th at the South Point Hotel and Casino. Featuring 2,000 motorcycles with over a dozen collections crossing the block. Broadcast live on Motor Trend Plus. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at mecum.com.
Mike Wolfe has collected motorcycles as they were found. Several different kinds, makes, Harley-Davidson and Indian from almost the earliest years up through maybe 1970. They are all like they were when he pulled them out of the barn.
When I buy a bike from the 20s or the 30s, I'm looking at the bike, but to me, I'm romanticizing in a way of like what this country was like then. I've always wanted to preserve motorcycle history and share it with the world. I'm Mike Wolfe, and this is my motorcycle collection.
All right, that was Mike Wolfe and Greg Arnold. A little quick sizzle reel there. That was pretty neat. And we have Mike Wolfe by phone with us right now as we're speaking. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it is just a pleasure. I love the As Found collection and really kind of want to talk to you a little bit about that. I got to tell you quickly, first though, I talked to a friend of yours, a great friend of mine that I've known in Chicago, I don't know, maybe 20 some years, Bobby Middleton.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How do you know Bobby?
So Bobby did my first spin the spoke reel. I've just known Bobby and his father, who was just great bikers in Chicagoland area. Then he went on to make his metal shop and then his bar. And now I understand he's down in Tennessee by you.
Yeah, he actually bounces in and out of Tennessee and Chicago. And he's working on a building of mine in LeClaire, Iowa, where I have my Iowa store down on Main Street. This building's like 1860, and it's got a it's got a really cool facade, and so he blew everybody's mind. I wasn't there, but I saw photographs of the windows and the doors and the side lights and the transom windows and everything that he did. I'm excited to actually see it in person. He's a really good dude.
He is a great dude. I'm just a skilled craftsman. I mean, he's just really, he's really on top of what he does. They're just great people. I miss them. They moved down there, and he just texted me back, and he said, "You tell Mike that I said hi." I said, "I'll do one better." I said, "I'll do one better."
It's a small world.
I said, "I'll do one better. I'm going to tell the story."
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So are you in the city or are you in a suburb? Where are you at?
We are in the suburbs. So I am in Elmhurst, Addison, right outside of the airport. And I visit American Pickers in Iowa. My son just graduated from Iowa School as a welder. And
nice.
Yeah, so we go back and forth. I've been working with J&P Cycles.
Yeah, I lived in the city. I lived in the city for a while on 87th and Commercial, right off Stony Island, way on the south side. And I lived on, I worked on Glenwood Dyer Road in Chicago Heights for a while.
All right.
And then I was on the north side, on Bryn Mawr and Clark.
Oh my gosh.
So I was in and out of the city for a while. I was born in Joliet.
Yep. Me too. This is Penny FXR. I was born and raised there as well.
Yeah. Penny says that she was born and raised in Joliet as well. And she thought that was really funny that she found out today that you were there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're going to be at Mecum. I'm so excited. I'm excited to see your collection.
Yeah, it's a portion of my collection. I put 63 bikes in the auction, and I kept 55 bikes. And so a lot of people are under the impression, they're like, "Oh my God, you're selling your whole collection. What's going on? You're like a motorcycle guy, and you talk about them and about how much you love them and everything. And so how did this even happen?" And so I think it kind of happens to everybody is what I've been telling them. I'm knocking on 60. I turned 58 this year, and I started looking at, some of my mentors like Dale Waxler and John Parham and Jim Latin and, guys like that, and what their focus was with their collection. And, your collection is such a big part of your life. And, it's like family to me. And I know people are talking about, I know people understand what I'm talking about when I say that about motorcycles. And so it's just, I just want to stay more focused. And, I came from nothing, and then the success of the show, brought me so much, and I feel very blessed. But at the end of the day, I feel like I work somehow better with less. I don't know if that makes sense to people, but
sure,
it seems like that makes sense to me right now in my life.
Well, and I think when you said in your sizzle reel, that there's no way to get all these bikes running and, be with them all the time. I mean, when you've got a collection over 100 bikes, there's only so many hours in the week, right? Or the month. But
yeah. You're always chasing fuel. You're chasing batteries. And a lot of bikes, a lot of super early bikes, I won't bother getting them running, because after you get them running, you got to maintain them. So, I'm standing next to, in my house here, I've got a Pratt that was made in Indiana, and they made wagons, and I think they actually made a few cars, but this bike was only made for a year. And, I couldn't even imagine getting this running, because I like the way it looks now with the original tires on it. And, it's just, to me, it's encapsulated just the way it is. Now I've got bikes, from the 30s and the 40s that I do ride, some flatheads and some knuckleheads. I've kept all that stuff that I'm going to ride, but my early stuff, to me, they're pieces of art. It's industrial art. It's a time in America that'll never come again. And when you can touch something that is what I call, and a lot of people call, as found in the original state, then, you can kind of relive that moment over and over again.
Yeah. What I really loved about the reel was that when you talk about that, the history, the pre-1920s, the 20s, the 30s, and I'm thinking, man, this guy knows a lot of history, probably just through bikes, if you know, right? I mean,
yeah, I was never really a great student. I was more of like a hands-on guy, and yeah, I mean, I did learn a lot about history through bicycles, you know, balloon tire stuff pre-war, and then into turn of the century bikes, and then obviously then I got into early motorcycles, and I was fortunate, you know, I mean, to grow up around really the Davenport meet, the antique motorcycle meet in Davenport. So, you know, when you walk on the field there, all of a sudden you've got, you know, 800 mentors, because there's so many people that are willing to share their knowledge.
Yes.
I'm missing that now, because all of that knowledge is at your fingertips, you know, where before you had to learn it, you had to read it in a book, you had to talk to people. And now at Davenport, I don't bring a lot to sell, maybe a few things, but I just like, you know, going around, and I'll spend, you know, maybe an hour in someone's booth just sitting there talking to them and catching up with them, because there's a lot of guys you see there that you only see that just that one time a year.
Well, and it's a social, you know, it's a social networking
Absolutely.
activity more than anything. And, you know, that's what motorcycles has brought so many of us together. I've been riding antique bikes for over 30 years. And, you know, I think I started my Davenport days just by going around the campfires at night and just shutting up and listening to all the stories, you know. I mean,
yeah. And I can remember I was scared of guys like Neil Waxler when I was 20 years old. You know, he was riding around in a convertible Cadillac with all these young girls that were beautiful. They were dressed like 1930s. And
even though he was only 5'3", even though he was only 5'3".
He had a big stogie in his mouth. And I mean, when he spoke, you know, he held court. Because he was, you know, people listened to him. And the same thing with all those years at his museum. I mean, I think he built one of the best museums in the world. You know, and Matt is doing such a good job there now. He's such a good guy. I listen to Matt talk now, and I watch him walk people around the museum, and he's so engaging and he's so connected. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat. We have one of our listeners, Tara, who's asking, how do you decide which motorcycle to sell? I mean, when you have over 100 motorcycles, what do? You just like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I mean, there was some of that. I mean, no, I started looking at the stuff I ride, you know, and so that was off the table right away. And then I started looking at like the Indian Chiefs and the Panheads, the Flatheads, and there are a couple early motorcycles in the collection as well, but I have other examples that are very similar to them. You know, I just I can remember where I got a lot of these bikes, you know, the person I got it from, the place, that time in my life. And so you get emotionally connected to some and some not so much, you know. So it was difficult. It really was. I mean, it was a process. Once I started talking about it with someone at Mecum, it was probably, you know, 6 months before I actually made up my mind in regards to, one, whether or not I was going to do it, and then two, you know, what I wanted to actually sell.
That was going to be one of my questions. Did you contact Greg, or Greg, did you contact Mike?
Penny's asking if you contacted Greg or if Greg contacted you.
I've got a friend of mine that actually lives close to me that works with Mecum, and he works mainly in cars, and he specializes in like Chevy Impalas and stuff. And so I started talking with Mecum through him, and then the relationship just grew. Greg spent, you know, a day or a couple days in Columbia, Tennessee, where a lot of these bikes were, and I had a great time with him. We finally actually got to catch up with each other later in the day at dinner and talk more, you know, personal stuff. But like when he was there, man, he had a crew of people and they were cranking it out. I mean, I was very impressed.
Yeah, we got to see some of that through the reel, and that was really exciting. So anybody that wants to go check it out, I know it's on YouTube, and Greg can give us Greg, what would be the do you know what the address is for that sizzle reel that I happen to see?
You know, I'm not quite sure I got that completely, Gina.
Oh, that's okay. I think it's definitely on YouTube, and I think if anybody Google it, you know, and put as found collection.
It's also on Mecum.com as well.
Yeah.
And I think we've shared it on my social a number of times. They had a lengthy video, and then we chopped it into like 4 or 5 different pieces that were maybe, I don't know, a minute to 2 minutes long is basically what we were trying to achieve with that.
Yeah, it was really good. I played that at the beginning of your interview. I love it was a quick sizzle reel of 46 seconds.
Well, thank you. You know, it's kind of like, I mean, I'm sure you feel comfortable in the space that you're in, you know, that you're talking to me from. And that's the way I feel when I'm in Columbia at that old dealership. You know, I've spent a lot of time there. We've worked on the building a lot. And, you know, it's just one of those places that grows on you. It's a 1947 Chevrolet dealership. And so, you know, and it also had a Texaco gas station incorporated with it when it opened up. So it's kind of like everything is right there, you know, and we've been restoring that building and working from photographs that we've got that are very detailed of the inside and outside.
Nice.
We're really blessed to have those. And so, yeah, it comes together. So when I did that shoot, I was doing it in a space that, you know, I felt really comfortable in.
So I was reading some of the comments at the end of that because I wanted to check everything out and get to know what that was all about for the interview tonight. And some people said, yeah, you know, Mike Wolfe, he's seen there a lot. He goes there a lot. You know, so you got a little fan club there that's watching you.
It's a great town, man. It really is. You know how there's like those places like in the city or in the suburbs where you're at, where you've got your favorite place to eat, your favorite roads to ride on. You know, I mean, it's just nice being around familiar places. And that's why it was so difficult to kind of decide on some of these bikes, you know. I mean, those 4-cylinders, that green and white 4-cylinder, I got that out of a place. It was like on the very western edge of Kansas, Colorado border, that area. And so it's like where the plains just open up and there starts to be like rock formations and everything. I remember getting there like, you know, really early in the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and watching the sunset come up before I went over that place. And that was like, you know, a small homestead on a dirt road, and the garage in the back had that 4-cylinder in there. You know, it was and I bought that from I think it was the Sons at that time that had that bike. And, you know, it's so hard to find anything that's 4-cylinder,
yeah.
You know, and so that was a great bike to find. And I remembered that one. But again, you know, I was just never going to get it running. I had too many other things ahead of it, and I want someone else to enjoy it. That's one cool thing about, I think, that's going to be neat at the auction. I've never been to the auction before. I've never experienced it. And so it's going to be neat to see the people that buy the bikes, you know.
I was going to ask you if you're excited about seeing, you know, how they're getting bid on, and then of course who's going to buy it, because, you know, they're going to want to talk to you about the story behind it. And I mean, you if you don't have time now, just wait, because I think you're going to get, you know, I mean, I would if I bought one of your bikes.
Plenty of time. I mean, that was one of the most important things for me, is when the bike is sold, I want to be able, if they want to speak to me about it, you know, if I know anything about it. There's a couple of flatheads in there. There's 37 ULs that I've spent time riding, and those bikes are in there. And so I can actually tell them like what we did to the engine. And I don't know if you know who Mike Silvio is.
Oh, of course. I know Mike.
Boiling Springs. Yeah. So he's done a lot of the work on a lot of these bikes that are in the auction, bikes that I actually got running over the course of the last 10 years, you know.
That's fantastic.
We have iconic sidecar racer really quick. Larry Coleman asking if you ever found any flexi sidecar bikes.
Larry Coleman is asking if you found any flexi sidecar bikes.
No, I haven't. I mean, I've found the carriage for one, but never the body. You know, I mean, flexi sidecar bikes are pretty incredible machines. And there was one at Davenport a few years ago that was original paint. I remember there was a sidecar there. I did recently find some bikes that had Goulding sidecars on them, which are pretty interesting to really check out, you know, as far as like the fin in the back and the bulbous nose in the front that looks like a World War II bomber. I mean, everything was built so incredibly beautiful back then. And I've been getting into like, Glenn Curtis's story more. And just, I listened to a podcast recently on the Wright brothers. And, I've also obviously always been into like, Hedstrom and Hendy's story with bicycles. And so I'm kind of wanting to read more up on all of those things to make decisions on how I want to steer my collection and what I'm going to be personally looking for too. I haven't stopped collecting motorcycles. I won't do that until the day I die. I mean, just 2 days ago, I bought a 1913 Pope twin.
Oh, wow.
And a 12 Pope single that I've been trying to buy those bikes for about a year. And
oh my God,
I was able to buy those. They were in Indiana. So I'm still always buying, it's just, I don't think that's anything that's ever going to leave you once you've been bitten by that.
So when you're saying you're still buying, are people coming to you? How are you finding this? And I like what you guys said in that reel that, it's a lot easier to hide a bike back in the day than a car, but it's a lot harder to find it.
That's exactly right. Greg was right. I mean, you're going to find 500 cars before you might find one bike. I mean, during the scrap drive, a lot of them went away at that point in time. And then, as they got older, the engines were taken off the chassis. The chassis was scrapped, and then the engine was used for something else. We've all seen stuff like that, whether it was a threshing machine or a water pump or whatever it was. I mean, the engine had use. But yeah, I mean, motorcycles, especially, pre-war motorcycles, pre-1920 motorcycles are extremely, extremely hard to find, especially, the rare brands like Royal Pioneer or Greyhound or Reading Standard or Flying Merkel. Harley and Indian were big players in the industry, and they built a lot of bikes and sold a lot of bikes. But, like this Pratt I'm standing next to, or this Royal Pioneer that I'm standing next to right now. I mean, all of these, that's the stuff that really interests me because, there were so many manufacturers then. I mean, I think, a lot of people have said there was around 150 American manufacturers at one time.
Wow.
I mean, look how many bikes were made in Minnesota. Look how many bikes were made in Illinois. It's like, so those tiny pockets, like the Blackhawk, for example, that was made in Rock Island, Illinois for 2 years.
Wow.
No one's ever found a bike. It's never been found. 2 engines have been found, but no one's ever found a bike. That interests me. That story really interests me.
So when you say that, when it interests you, how much does it interest you that will you try to track that down?
Oh my God. Well, yeah, who wouldn't? And then there was another bike that was made by Hornecker Manufacturing in Geneseo, Illinois. It was called a Torpedo. There's one of those exists. There's a guy named Jim Denny. He's an East Coast collector that, collects a lot of really early stuff. He's got one of those bikes. That's the only bike like that exists.
Where do you think might be
that kind of stuff excites me.
What do you think might be some of the what areas? Tell me. What areas do you think the most collection, or is it that way?
I'll tell you what, Kansas has a lot of motorcycles. There's a lot of motorcycle collectors, and that area has a lot of motorcycles. And the state of Pennsylvania has a tremendous amount of motorcycles. I think someone did some research, I remember years ago, and they talked about how the state of Minnesota had more motorcycles registered at one time, I'm talking early bikes, than anywhere else in the Midwest.
Wow.
But there's guys like, I remember there was an old man, his last name was Hickethier, and he was in the state of Iowa. And so when I was 22-year-old kid running around the state looking for motorcycles, everybody that I came across that even knew about an early motorcycle said, oh, Hickethier was here.
Wow.
Hickethier, this and that. And so then I heard that he had one arm and he was up by Story City and all this stuff. And then you start trying to imagine, like, is this guy still alive? Where are these?
I'm so with you. I'm so with you. I'm a Capricorn, and we are deep. We just dig history. And I'm just, I am so with you. I would just love to get in Greg's backpack and just tag along. I'm telling you, because you both have the best job in the world. I mean,
it's interesting. Yep.
Man, you know what? And I think that that I feel like I know that, I mean, for a long time now, way before the show, I would just get excited about chasing a lead, and a lot of times it ended up being nothing, but it was there was no destination to it. It was really just the journey. And so now with the cameras and the show being on for as long as it has, I do kind of like take the time to, embrace those moments when it's just me, It's like me and my girlfriend took off the other day and went and got those popes. And man, it was just so cool. It was being on 2-lane roads, and I mean, she, I don't like to stop unless I have to, so I'm just going for it. I want to get there. It's like 5.5 hours. I'm like, I'm just going for it. I don't know. Maybe not having so many bikes will make me slow down a little bit and stop and smell the roses a little.
Take the pictures and so forth. I know, but it's hard to stop, right? You want to just keep riding. And tell her that I said hello because I love her and I can't wait to catch up with you guys.
Isn't she amazing?
She is. She
just received an award. I think it was this year. In 2022 for being one of the top 100
women. Yep, I know. Yeah, power sports
in the motorcycle industry.
Yeah. Congratulations.
And so she's really happy about that, and she's a hell of a rider.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yes,
she is. Good. I can't wait to catch up with you guys in at the motorcycle auction. We went way over, and that's okay because I could just sit and talk with you for another hour. My producer will leave and everything, but I'll still talk with you.
Yeah, are you going to be at the auction?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be at the auction. We've got a special invite that I'm going to send you as well. We've got a little thing going on.
Yeah, nice little vintage motorcycle.
Well, I look forward to seeing you there, and I'm excited about the auction. Like I said, I've never been before, and I've heard some great things. And Mecum's been awesome to work with. Dana's incredible. Greg's awesome, and so I'm looking forward to the 27th. I'll be there on the 26th.
Good.
So we'll talk. We'll catch up then.
And can we bring you back? I know we didn't get to talk to you about where you're taking the show, so I'd love to maybe do a part 2 with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love that.
Great. We'd look forward to that. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. And, if you're unsure about one of those bikes, you could just leave it on the side and I can come and grab it for you. And seriously, no problem. I'll be down there in a heartbeat.
We could probably figure something out.
Perfect. You heard it here live.
Greg, did you have a question? Greg?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Mike. Bye-bye.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Away we go.
No,
right.
You know what? It was a little weird because he was only able to do a call-in, so we couldn't really hear that back. So you guys get that. But wow, I didn't know that he's never been there before, Greg. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome that he's there. You'd think, somebody like Mike Wolfe would come to this auction, but we're all busy. Everybody's got their own thing to do, schedule conflicts, obviously. So yeah.
And he wasn't considering selling bikes.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're thrilled to death. He's a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Greg, I want to thank you so much for sticking out with us as well. Thank you so much. We're going to hope that you feel better, and we will look forward to seeing you here.
All right. I'm looking forward to it, too. See you in Las Vegas.
A week from today. We'll see you then.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, guys. Well, we want to thank everybody. What did you say?
Who?
Oh, Gina, are you coming to are you coming to the Hot Shoe Hall of Fame on Saturday night? No, I'm flying back. I'm going to be back at home. I'm so sorry, Larry. Don Buse, great show. Thanks. Tara, thank you so much. Lawrence, Mike Draco, Carrie. Hi, Carrie. Daslin. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. Our events segment is Mecum Auction. Be there. We're going to be live next week.
And you do know that was Tara from Main Street Moto, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
We're going to see her on Wednesday night.
Yes.
Scott Rehack, thank you so much. We are going to be live at the 1400 K-Shop Studios, brought to you by Full Throttle Law next Monday. And I understand that Greg's going to be in the studio with us. And I think I've conjured a couple other special guests up as well. So we should have a great show next week. Please join us then. What do you think, Tice?
I try not to think because it's the leading cause of procrastination. So
what's going on with that bike in back there? What is your projected finale completion?
I mean, honestly, I had so many questions for Mike, and it was a bummer that he was on the phone. And I know that you were kind of relaying, and you were just killing it right there. So I didn't want to try to like interject, but so many questions. I feel like you just took over half your collection. I feel like, how do you give away half your children? Like, how do you choose which child to give away? Like, this one craps his diapers. We give that one away. Like, this one colors on the walls. Like, I can't. I mean, I get it. You got 111, 13 motorcycles or something like that.
Man, yeah.
I mean, incredible. And like, I mean, like, how do you decide what to give away? Like, how do you? And I like how he talked about. He's got some of them that are not quite duplicates, but like very similar.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
They might not have the store later. And then a little bit later on, he talked like some of them he doesn't really have the time for or doesn't have the drive to kind of work on those. So he wants them to go to a home to where they're going to, be somebody's focus and they're going to get built and they're going to get and that bike's going to get put back together. So all around incredible. I'm super disappointed. I keep checking my email to see if you sent me a ticket. Penny already has not told me that I can super up for, but I'm just going to assume it. So I kind of feel like if it happens, it happens. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, I've got to, what's crazy is that there's a real buzz when you go to this auction, and I want to see if he picks up. He's going there to sell, but I'm going to see if he picks up anything.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, Mike,
it gets real addicting.
3 bikes, but how many bikes are you coming home with, bro? How many are you bringing home?
Right. All right. Well, we're going to let you know next week, Tice, or the week after, actually. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. Everybody who chimed in, we appreciate your time hanging out with Open Road Radio, and we will catch you right back here next week, and we'll see the progress that Tice is doing on that bike.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to hop on my hot rod here and scooter away. I'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Nice. Thank you, Gina. That was an amazing show. Thank you.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining us from Sin City, the Full Throttle Law Studios. And we'll catch you next week right here on Open Road Radio. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to America's premier motorcycle talk show, Open Road Radio.
Hey, thanks for coming along. We hope you enjoyed the ride.